Hey, Heidi Ho, neighbor, Dave the Family Farmer here, and I'm going to give you a small little brief behind the scenes with my garden worms. Of course, as you know, I also raise and breed night crawlers. But today I happen to be going through my garden worms, and I'm going to show you a little bit behind the scenes of things I do that make my work here successful. So, as you can see on my bin, you can see it says garden worms. Why? That's exactly what is in there. So, let's go down to here and look on my right here. And of course, it says notes. I started this bin on 12/27/13. I started with young only. Okay. My feed is all natural. Now, if I were to feed them all natural plus other ingredients, say manure, oatmeal, coffee grounds, eggshells, whatever, I would write that in there so I know exactly what they are feeding on, and that way I can keep closer look at it. Okay, so of course now I have my soil test. And as you can see, I marked down the day. On the 1st of January, it was too dry. So of course I added water to it. And of course 21st was okay. 31st, just perfect. And of course 2 February, it was okay. And on 3/14, it says, look at my notes, which is on my left-hand side. So we'll take a look over there. And 3/14, it says, took out 4 dozen adults, start a new bin. Yes, so I took out 4 dozen adults out of this bin to start a new bin. Okay. And on 3/21, added water. Good. 3/29, good. 4/7, good. Of course, today is the 14th, but I haven't marked that down yet because I haven't looked inside the bin. And of course, over here I have my pH, which every time I check the soil, you want to check your pH. Make sure it's at a neutral, make sure it's neutral. Okay, even with garden worms. Yes, check your soil for moisture. If it's too wet, dry her up some a little bit. If it's too moist, if it's too dry, add some moisture to it. Yes. Okay, make sure there's no extra feed if you're feeding them something else other than a natural diet. Make sure that that's not lingering in there and rats. Okay, you want to keep good notes on what you're doing. Notes are very vital importance when raising night crawlers and or garden worms and or red wigglers, whatever you're raising. People, it's great to know exactly when you started your bin. Okay. Now on the other side here, I said I got notes here. Okay, on 2/17, which let's look over here. Everything was okay. pH was okay. I got egg casings, 2/17. So that means they were breeding and doing very well in here. Okay, that's what that tells me, because I found egg casings. Okay, now remember people, when you're doing your worms and or night crawlers, you want to inspect them too. You want to inspect them to make sure they look good, they look healthy, they're not dying, not shriveled up, not too crowded. Night crawlers don't like to be crowded. Okay, but we're talking about garden worms here. Garden worms, you can crowd them like you do red wigglers. They'll do just fine. Okay, but you still want to make sure they're good and healthy. So make sure you check your garden worms when you check your soil, your pH, and all of that kind of good stuff. Alright? Keeping notes is of vital importance to how the success of what you're doing. Okay? Remember that. Always take notes. Don't think you're going to remember it, because you're not. Take notes. It's a serious thing. Okay? With that in mind, subscribe to my channel. You're going to see some more interesting stuff there. Hey, you all take care. Bye-bye then.